Hi there, welcome back. If you're watching this on Monday, happy Monday. It's actually Sunday where I am here, but by the time I edit this, it'll be Monday. So, welcome to a bit of my day. And if you're new here, I'm Catherine, up in Canada. And today, spring is here. But lately, we don't know. We could get a snowstorm tomorrow. It's been one of those weird springs. I am working on Violet. I love her cover. I was away all week last week. It was just chock full. It was either appointments for me or I even had an appointment for the dog. So it was just a crazy week. And I was in my room here working, but it was always in little bits and pieces where I could catch 20 minutes here or there and come in and sit and do a little thing here or there. But this morning, we have nowhere to be, nowhere to go, actually all day. And it's lovely. So I've got Violet's cover here. And I'm not sure if I've done a walkthrough of how I completed Violet's cover. So I thought I might talk you through it since I didn't do it on camera. This was one of those, sometimes I do a nerve-wracking thing on camera. It just helps to know you're there. And sometimes I really have to just think it out and do it myself because there's a lot of place this, no, yes, no, yes, no, yes. And something that looks so casual and haphazard and simple turns out to be 4 hours long. And that's what this turned out to be. But I'm really pleased with how it turned out because I like the reds and the blues complementing the reds over here and the blue of the cover. And my hope was to be able to get this collage down without ending up having to Mod Podge the whole cover. I really like the original book cloth and just the texture of the book cloth of this book. And I'm happy with how it turned out. And I wanted it to sort of be a mystery. It's definitely an all sorts book, but I want there to sort of be a little mystery about maybe, who was the original owner? What was she up to? Or if it was a he and he had a she in his life, and that's why she's showing up or he's showing up. Anyhow, so with the cover, what I did was this is corrugated cardboard right here behind the Edouard Manet painting, and this is actually called Violets or a bouquet of violets. We'll get to that because I saved the page and put it into the book. And I adhered it to chipboard to give it some dimension. And the brads are only holding it to the corrugated cardboard. They don't go right through the book. And mostly because I wasn't sure how well it would adhere to these little bumps. And I didn't want to have to mash them down. So that, although I still used glue, the brads are a little safety insurance. So then what I did was I created this collage. I created this collage. I wanted to incorporate little touches of blue and red here and there. And I really loved this label. I think this came in my meatball box from Nancy. I could be wrong, but I think that was in the meatball box. And I just loved how it said poison, but it also says for art. It's denatured alcohol. And you had to get it from the drugstore. And there's just little hints of blue here and there. I left this blank so the new owner can title this book whatever they wish. because I wanted a collage. I didn't want to put a book plate on it. And there's a little bit of blue on this. I believe this is Tim Holtzy stuff there. This is an actual photo out of an album that Nancy and Alice and I, on one of our annual or semi-annual jaunts, one of them found it. I think Alice found it. And I said, "Do you want those?" And she said, "No." And I grabbed them. And it's from a book. Unfortunately, the previous owner dated the pages by the decade. So it says 1920s and 1930s. And they're all from the 1920s and 30s. And I just liked this interesting woman here sitting on, it looks like brownstone steps there. Anyhow, I liked the reds complementing each other. I liked the blues. There's blue around this label. There's blue in here and around here. So, and of course the violets. And there's a little bit of blue around this. Who knows whether it's a love note or a dance card or something. Who knows? So I'm really happy with how that turned out. And how I laid it down was I decided how far away from top and bottom I wanted it to be, and then how far away the furthest one I wanted it to be. So I wasn't necessarily aiming for this to be the center, although I was aiming for it to be the focal point, and it's so big, it obviously is. Then I laid this down first. Then I laid this down second because I wanted this to overlap both of them. And I'm really happy with how it turned out. I either used 3-in-1 or Fabri-Tac. I can't remember which one. They're both the same if you ask me. So I'm very happy with how that turned out. And I think I always say it might be one of my favorites. I wasn't enjoying the original first cover, but I wanted to put it in because it's one of those books that they put the copyright date on the other side of it. And I'm not even sure why I didn't like it, because it's got red in it, and I love red. But it needed a little something something, and that's when I grabbed my big book of beautiful flowers and fussy cut this out. Believe it or not, when I fussy cut this, I did it in one piece. I think I felt like challenging myself that day. And if there's anything I've learned about fussy cutting something intricate like this, is do it on glass with a sharp pointed knife. Don't use a self-healing mat, because your knife will just sink into it rather than sliding over the glass and being able to get around things. But when I glued it down in 3 pieces. So I glued this lower part, I cut it there and I cut it there. So this went down first. Then this went down next. There's a slice right here. And then this was the last piece to go down. And now I love it. So now I'm happy. And then I thought long and hard about, because I mostly want this book to be naked. It's going to be heavy. I think it's like 326 pages. So it's already going to be a heavy book. And I thought, what do I want for this book? It doesn't look like it should be a lacy book. And if it does have lace, it should just be a little piece here or there. It shouldn't be one of those girly, frilly, lace all down the side kind of journals. It needs to be somebody tucking mementos into a journal-y kind of book. So I thought it needed just lots of haphazard tabs that look like they are sticking out and off the side. So I got started on it. This is actually one of my tabs that is removable. And it's playing cards, but it's pocket watch. Isn't that beautiful? Vintage playing cards that I got from Happy Mail. And I did this on purpose so that you can see it from the top and from the side. And I just love how the red and the blue, again, reinforces the red and blue theme. And you can see it from the side. And you can, when this is gone, you'll see it peeking out the top. And these work nicely because you can tuck things underneath and they don't need paper clips, and it gives you room on both sides. And it can be moved, which is another nice thing. If you don't like it there on the second page of the book, move it further back in the book where you need to use it. So I did that. I've also added a couple of other permanent tabs. So some tabs will be movable and some tabs will be permanent. So we're going to work on a couple today, but I'll show you what I've got done so far. I wanted a little photograph kind of whale tail, so I have a book called, I think, America as It Was, and it's just chock full of beautiful old black and white photos. And I liked her because she's driving a car, and I just thought, yeah, you go, girl. And there's her friends beside her out for a jaunt. And so she's in there. And then I think I have another one here. This is just glued down, so it's just a tab. It's not a tuck spot. So the new owner will have to figure out when things are tabs and when things are tuck spots. It will be a mystery. And same with here. Now I want to work on this a bit today. Let's actually do that first because I don't think I've done any other tabs here. So let's move this over and get to work on this one. Let's take it out. Just so I'm going to put a page in there so I remember where I had it. I'm going to stick that up. Get that out of the way. So I wanted, these flowers were on the same page. It's a huge book where that red flower on the front page came out of. And these were also on the same page. And I thought, let's make use of them. So I fussy cut this one and left a border just for a change. And then I fussy cut this one and went right to the edge, as I did with the red flower. Now, as big as it is, it seemed to be a bit lost on this printed page, but I loved how it said A Plant's Wonderful Secret. So I used my lace doily stencil and did a bit of green inking behind, but I left a bit of room here because I thought this might be a place to put a picture. And so I thought, I love the characters that are in this book I have called Opera Singers. Apparently this gentleman used to print a beautiful book like this himself, self-published, and he would, whoever was at the singing at the Met that year, he would put together a book, a souvenir of who was singing that year. So this is the book from 1913. And it's just got beautiful, beautiful photos, black and white portrait type photos. Oh, this book gets better. Some people might think, how could you cut it up? But, oh yes, I can. It's, oh, I love her. She might be the one that needs to go in because she's got that beautiful bouquet of flowers. Let's move these. These are from times that I've been looking for certain things, so I put them in. Let's put you there. Let's remove these other ones so I don't get confused. I like her. I got to the point looking through this book where I could tell what opera it was from. You know, whether it was La Boheme or the one with the woman that does the magnificent song with the horn, the helmet with the horns. And I really like the smaller pictures as opposed to these big ones. So don't be alarmed that she's missing her shoulder. Because these are the pictures that I love. And again, she's lost her back, but it's all right. The big pictures I don't like as well as these little ones. See what I mean? It's just a magnificent book for photos. And this is where I want to fussy cut one out. Let's see. Marguerite. Oh my. Mephistopheles. Brunhilde, that's the name I was looking for. Juliet, isn't that beautiful? She's lovely. Well, maybe I should not waste too much time and just go with the one that initially caught my eye, because if you're like me, I could just spend all day looking through the beautiful pictures in this book. So pretty. Aida. All right, there we go. So that's the one that speaks to me. Let's do it. There she is. Let's make sure. This is one of those times where you look on the other side and make sure you're not cutting a better picture. If you're like me, you've done that. And then you go, oh, and then you just have to accept what you did. So I try and get as close as I can in case there is a good picture on the other side. See that? Here, I'll move it. Don't worry. That will still make this picture usable if I put it at the bottom of a page, even though I've lost the bottom of her dress. So that's okay. So much for my nearly naked book. I'm already having fun playing with it, but oh well. It's one of those times where we have to say, oh well. Alright, now I've got to decide, is this a scissor one or is this a knife one? And I'm going to start with scissors and see if that's what I want. Sometimes I like to fussy cut right here in my scissors, and sometimes you need that little tip. I know for me I need the little tip because so I can see how far I'm cutting. Well, for those who celebrate, I hope you've had a nice Easter. Or I know other faiths are celebrating other occasions around the world. So I hope it's been a nice weekend for you. Boy, I was reminiscing in my own mind of all the Easter mornings with my little ones. How busy it was with the bunny visiting and trying to get ready for church. And oh boy, it was a hectic day, but fun. And of all things, we usually ended up having lasagna for dinner on Easter, or ham, something easy, because Easter Sunday at church usually went a long time, and by the time we got home, there just was not time to put together a big family dinner. My parents, one set of grandparents, were in Florida. They were never here for Easter. And my in-laws were usually up north, or possibly sometimes with other, we had big families on both sides. So it was usually just us, which when I say just us, well, 5 children, a dog, and a gazillion other pets. We had lots of rats and guinea pigs and snakes and you name it, we had them. It was a zoo. That used to be on our answering machine. Remember those days when people had answering machines? And I used to say, "Hi, you've reached us, Homeschool and Zoo. Leave a message. When you hear the tone, one of us will get back to you when we can." I was one of those moms that I believe, that having a pet, even a little one, small as having a fish, it's good for a child. Teaches them to put someone or something else before their own needs. Keeping them clean, making sure they're fed, watching out for their health, the circle of life, that sort of thing. So we always had a whole slew of critters in the house. The only thing we didn't ever have was cats. Everything else we had. Guinea pigs. Don't worry, I'm going to take this center part out. I may even trying to decide if I'm going to save that or not. or glue it on separately. I'm wondering if I could just lose it. I'm wondering if I could, her arm would be behind her. I don't want to lose that little flower. Well, let's try cutting it out first. And we'll see. I'm going to take this off, but save it and add it back on. So I'll put it there. I'm going to pause and finish this. Okay, so she's cut out. Now, let me get some paper. I have an idea and I hope it works, and we can only try, right? Sometimes I find when you fussy cut, the edges are sticking out, and sometimes I find you need to use a card and push them back down, even with a craft knife. There we go. And I also like a little bit of vintage photo around the edge. It just, I know, it just ages it a little bit more, makes it pop a little bit more. Now I have an idea about that arm so that we don't have to use that cane. As snazzy as the cane is, I'm going to try and make it look like the arm is behind this flower. So she's sort of saying, oh, look at this flower. Do you think it's as lovely as mine? You know prima donnas. Are you all going to have the Phantom of the Opera prima donna song stuck in your head now? So what I want to do, there's the cane. I'm going to save the cane just in case. I want to try and lift this flower. Let's see if I can lift it to get her arm under there. Yes, okay. Then if we put her here, I can take the arm off and fit her in a little closer, and her arm, it will give the illusion that her arm is behind that big yellow flower. There we go. A lot of work for a fussy cut, eh? But it'll make me so happy when it's done. So there she is, missing her arm. We don't need the cane anymore. And then she can tuck in, so she'll be in front of those leaves, but behind that flower. Yes. Love it. And then maybe the ticket is a ticket to the opera to hear her sing. All right, now I'm happy. Let's I'm going to pause while I get this bottle ready because I waste a lot of time on these bottles. Bottle is ready. Alrighty, so this will be tricky. This will be one of those work fast, Catherine. But the nice thing is with art glitter glue, it dries clear. So it won't be... There we go. If I get glue on it, like down here, it's not a big deal. Whereas if that had been 3-in-1, I would have left that alone till it was dry and then just rolled it off with an eraser. She's down. Now I'm going to lift this and put a little art glitter glue back down so that our little yellow flower is glued back down. There we go. Oh, she's lovely. So I'll try my best to only take up this one printed page and leave the rest for the new owner, because there's a few. I think I put 2 folios from this book. Did I put the year? I didn't put the year. I gotta find it. 1922. Now I'm happy with that. And that leaves this side for the new owner to still have fun. This would be a fun page for anything gardeny. All right, let's put you back where you belonged. So that was holding your spot, and you were in there. Oh, that looks nice. Okay, I'm happy. So when they flip this colorful one, it'll be la. Oh, jeepers. I take these things too seriously. So I've got work to do. And obviously I've hit my 30-minute mark. I've got some of those Tim Holtz cards that look like those photo machine booth cards. So this will be going somewhere. And again, it's one of those ones that will stick out the side. Maybe that's the love of her life. And maybe that's her near the end. And she's still happy. And I like the stars and the moon behind her. And maybe that's him when he was younger. So, you know, this will be one of those ones that sticks out haphazardly from the side, but can still hold papers on both sides and can be moved around, or even can go up top and be an uptuck. So, and I plan on doing the same with these, making them into a tab. And what I'll do is I'll just round all the corners so that they match, or at least the sides that stick out so that so it's a match. I have this one. I'm going to use 2 of them, not all 3. I might put the 3rd one somewhere else and cut those holes out. And then I have this whale tail tab. I like the red and the blues, so I'm going to find somewhere to fit that. And then I need to come up with a few more. So I'll be doing that today. That's what I'll be working on the rest of the day, is making sure that there's at least one wonky tab sticking out the side of every single, there's 11 signatures, so there's going to be a few, and some will be movable and some will not. And that will create an interesting profile of the open-edged side of the text block. So thanks for joining me today. I'm alive and kicking. I have another busy week coming up this week, so I'm not sure whether I will be recording or not. I have some tests that I have to go and do, and so I'll be around. I'll try my best to do better with taking photos as I'm working along, because I am working at my desk. And I used to be so good at Instagram and keeping up to date on what I was doing on Instagram. I'll try and get better at that for the days that I'm not doing videos. Anyhow, thank you so much for joining me. I appreciate it so very much. Hope you'll take a second and click that little thumbs up, and I hope you'll have a great rest of your day and that you're doing well. And we'll get together soon. I promise. Bye.